Are the Vegas Golden Knights dirty, dirty cheaters, or did they just find a convenient loophole? Welcome back to the Pucked Up Podcast, y'all. I am quite obviously the host for today since I'm doing all the goddamn talking. My name's Dee. I am joined today by my co-host, Chris, handsome as ever. Unfortunately,
Stop it.
Unfortunately, Danger is not able to make this recording today. Life be lifin', and so we are sending our thoughts to her and to her family and everything. She's beautiful. We love her. She's the best, and she'll be back soon. So,
Yeah.
we have like kind of a lot, kind of not a lot. Just like things are happening in the hockey world right
For
now.
real.
Yeah, it's been a very interesting start to the postseason, and obviously by that spicy, spicy question at the beginning, you guys know one of the topics we're going to be talking about. Um, but yeah, there's just been some things happening.
And we finally have an update to
We
the
do finally have an
question
update.
that we've had for like the past 2 or 3
Multiple
weeks.
weeks. Yeah,
I
yeah,
mean, I guess seeing as I was the one
yeah,
that constantly reported on it, I'll be the one
yeah.
to
Take it
say it
away.
if you guys missed it. Literally the next day after recording last week,
Because
it was
always,
announced because of course, that's why we record on Tuesdays. We should try to record earlier, but the way our
yeah,
scheduling just doesn't work.
yeah,
Um we finally know the sad truth that the Arizona Coyotes have played their last game.
yeah.
It was announced last week that Ryan
Mhm.
Smith, owner of the Utah Jazz, will officially be purchasing the Arizona Coyotes and moving them to Salt Lake City, Utah.
Yep.
It's heartbreaking. It's hard. It is. It's
Yeah.
heartbreaking because you and I are old enough to remember, I guess, a little bit the
Yeah.
Coyotes first starting.
Mhm.
Um, and it was just
I'm
like,
old enough to remember Gretzky as
yep,
head coach.
yep. We're old
Incredible
enough to
time.
remember the fucking Whalers. Probably
Yeah.
me more so because obviously
Mhm.
there's a lot bigger of a deal here. Um, but
Clearly.
like, when was the last team to relocate was what? Winnipeg?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm trying to
So
remember dates of everything. Yeah.
yeah, they would have to be the last ones because
Yeah.
Vegas and Seattle are expansion teams.
Yeah, they're brand new.
So I would say the Jets would be the last,
Mhm.
most recent with moving from Atlanta. Uh,
Sorry.
yeah, no, I mean, it's hilarious that Atlanta didn't work
Yeah.
twice, and both times they ended up in
Well,
Canada.
it's also just
That's funny to
yeah,
me.
that's the funnier part
Yeah.
is
Oh, the
is
Atlanta
where they had
Flames are in Calgary. The
it's like
Atlanta
they had to
Thrashers.
get as far away as possible.
Yeah. Surprised neither of them went to Alaska.
Right? Ended up
So,
in fucking Mexico. I don't know.
how do you feel about this?
So, I'm sad for a couple of reasons. I think that the way it all went down was extra shitty. I think the players knew to an extent that their team was being disbanded, so to speak. Um, but they were barred from talking about it. And I
Yeah.
think they were really barred from being able to make everything a moment. Like, we all saw the whole team come out on ice for their last game, take that picture at center ice. Um, but I don't think they celebrated it enough, and they should have been given that opportunity to do so.
I
They should have
agree.
been given the opportunity to make it more of a moment for the fans as well, to be able to host things like maybe Biz coming back and some of their other who was it Sloan was the jersey they retired?
Shane Doan.
Yes, yes, yes. Um, they should have made a moment with him. Like, they should have done something for these fans who come from an area that needed hockey. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It was so underrepresented, and then it finally gave, a ton of kids a dream. You know what I mean? Hopes that one day they make it into the NHL or into the PWHL, even though that might not have existed at that time, but still, it gives them that hope that they can go out and play hockey. And
Yeah.
now that dream has gone away, or at least it's less convenient. I mean, where's the next easiest place for them to go to watch NHL hockey?
There
Not anywhere that's financially feasible for many of these kids. And so I think that they
yeah.
owed their fans something more than what they got. So that's sad. It's sad to me to see, um, the way that it was reported on as well. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
It like, it
That
just
is sad.
it made it harder because,
Yeah.
like, you had all these conflicting reports, and I think it made
Mhm.
it even harder to know that it's like, the fans, no one cared anymore.
No.
It just
The
that
fans
breaks my
definitely
heart.
cared.
The
But yeah,
fans
that's
cared.
the fans felt like nobody cared about them, and especially management. And I think it's super shitty that the management for that team has been able to retain rights to the Arizona Coyotes in some ways. Like, they can
Yeah.
try again, and I think that's shitty. I don't think that they deserve it.
I well, that's
They mismanaged that team.
it's funny that you say that because Paul Bissonnette was actually pretty emotional in one of the
Yeah, it was.
intermission
Understandably.
reports. And for those that don't know, Biz played 5 years with the Arizona Coyotes. Um, he went on actually
Mhm.
multiple different places, including Pat McAfee. And he
Yeah.
said just a few quotes. He said, "Losing the Coyotes is brutal for the hockey fans in Phoenix. I was there for a long time, playing and on on the media side. It just sucks because all of the amazing people that I got to work with there, and I hope that they eventually get the team back." Or get a
Yeah.
team back. I know he went on to say, "I hope with new management." He goes, "I don't. I hope that the ownership before doesn't get another opportunity." He did praise Ryan Smith, which I did like. He said, "With Smith
Mhm.
wanting to put his own money and resources into building a new arena and new area, I think they're going to get tons of fan support, and it's going to be a first class organization with a lot of
Yeah.
forward thinking. Smith is 10 steps ahead of the next guy. He's a brilliant mind." And the fact that he's going to have both teams out of the same building, I do think it's going to have a community support and it's going to be successful. So
Yeah.
I like that he's optimistic, but it's like
Absolutely.
it also I do actually want to hold Coyotes fans accountable in some sense. It's like if you wanted to prove that they mattered that much to you, why have your seats been empty for years?
Yeah.
Like I understand that they're bad and yes, that's tough to watch. It is really hard to
Mhm.
watch. Trust me, as a Ducks fan, I've been dealing with it for a few years now. But
Yeah.
if you want to keep something, you have to support that thing and you have to show that you care about that thing. So, empty seats in their old arena, it's like at what point do Coyotes fans look at themselves and go, maybe we played a part in this?
I mean, yes, but I think that that role is much smaller than management's role, because the
Oh,
reason
absolutely.
why they stopped going is because of terrible mismanagement of players, of coaches, of resources and facilities. And I mean, I'm not going to show up to an arena that is severely out of date. I'm not going to show up to an arena that, um, uh, or for a team, I should say, that isn't wanting to win, kind of, it looked like. I mean, the last couple of years for the
It's,
Coyotes have been
it's what it
rough.
felt like. Yeah.
It felt like they didn't wanna win. And then, you hear all these trade rumors going around. You get like, what we had huge headlines last year
With
about
Chikrin,
of with Chychrun
with
wanting to
Jacob
leave, and it's
Chikrin.
like, you finally get a player who can actually do something for your team, and it's made very clear that he doesn't wanna fucking be there. And
Yeah.
so, I'm gonna be like, "Okay, our players don't wanna be here, our coaches don't wanna be here."
Yeah, because let's
Like,
be
you know
honest,
what I
how
mean?
long does Logan Cooley want to stick around if they suck? And he's their star young guy that's going to take them into the
Right,
next. How long does he want to chill there if they're
right.
doing bad? And like I
And so at
just
some point, that has to be a wake up call for management. If you have empty seats, it's because you're doing something wrong. You're either not captivating enough for your audience because you're not involved enough in their community, or Um, your marketing sucks ass, which, let's be honest, Coyotes marketing never really been all that thrilling. You know what I mean?
No, I mean social media was fun, but like actual marketability, it
Yeah,
makes it tough.
it
Like
does.
they showed promise this year, but
Yeah,
like you got to capitalize. You can't just finish that poorly. I
right.
just like I don't know. It's
So, I don't know.
heartbreaking. It's
It is,
heartbreaking
it's very sad.
as someone who lives in a state that lost their hockey team, and also
Mhm.
watching a sports team I like in my own
Yeah,
personal experiences get moved away. I mean, granted, it's lacrosse, but it's still like a it's
right.
a team you're loyal to. You see a lot, and then
Gone.
bye, they're gone.
Yeah.
I mean,
And while
I'm
I'm happy for the fans of Utah to be able to now have access to a sport that they previously didn't, that's incredible, and I'm so excited for the Utah community to be able to get in on that, and I hope that they fully take advantage of it. It's still, I mean, it's worth acknowledging, and I do have to say there was some game, I don't even remember who it was, but there was someone in a Coyotes jersey in the audience, and the camera panned to him, and it was like, "You're, this many thousands of miles from Utah." I was like, "That's kinda shitty." Like, let us all have a
yeah,
moment. Do you know what I'm
I
talking? Have
know.
you seen it?
I have. I do want to make sure I buy something off the NHL like shop site of
Mhm.
the Coyotes just to have. Like I'll probably buy a
Yeah.
hat or something, but just to have because
Pair of socks, Yeah,
who knows.
right.
It took it took the NHL how many years to go back to Winnipeg
Yeah,
for the Winnipeg Jets returned, so like
right.
but I
You could
just
see it
like
happen.
it breaks my heart. My heart goes out to Coyotes fans, and
Yeah, absolutely.
I hope that they stick with their team and support
Mhm.
them regardless. If it's too
Yeah,
painful, I understand. I hope you find another
100%.
team to like. Just don't give up on the sport because
Yeah.
I do want to thank the original owners for bringing the NHL to the desert and giving
Mhm.
us great memories with some excellent games with the Coyotes and
Yeah.
probably the best fucking jersey of the last like 30 years. That Kachina
Yeah.
jersey is it's perfect. That is
Mhm.
such an iconic look, and I'm glad that they at least for what's their final season got to wear the jersey that it all started
For,
with.
like, a minute. Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. No, absolutely. Alright, let's jump into some PWHL news. Obviously, they're still going strong. They have quite a few games coming up. Reminder, you can watch them all for free on YouTube. So check out the games coming up for the rest of this week and this weekend, before they head into their,
Post.
playoff tournament as well. But this week, the week of April 15th through April 21st, we have our three stars. Our third star is Aaron Frankel, goalie for Boston. Frankel is named the third star of the week for the second time this season after backstopping Boston to two regulation wins last week, with their team fighting for a playoff spot. Frankel posted a goals against average of 1.00 and a save percentage of .959, which helped our team earn 6 points in the standings. They now sit two behind fourth place, Ottawa, for the final playoff position. In our first game of the week, Frankel made uh, 23 saves against first place Toronto to secure a 2-1 win. The 24-year-old followed up with that performance by making 24 saves against New York in another 2-1 win, keeping Boston in a tight playoff race with Ottawa. Frankel now sits second in the PWHL in goals against average, following just allowing just 1.94 goals per game in 16 starts. She's tied for third in league in wins, with 7, save percentage with .936, and minutes played with 925 minutes and 52 seconds. Our second star of the week is Brianne Jenner, a right winger and center out of Ottawa. Jenner is named one of the PWHL's three stars of the week for the third time in 4 weeks. She was named the second star for the week ending March 25th and third star for the week ending March 10th. Ottawa's captain played in only one game last week against Minnesota, but she made it count, recording her first ever PWHL hat trick. Jenner opened the scoring in the first period with a key matchup for her team. They entered the game 1 point behind Boston, who occupied the league's final playoff position. She then added goals in the second and third period, leading Ottawa to a convincing 4-0 win against the league's second place team. With the win, her team holds on to the final playoff position with 4 games remaining. And Jenner has 3 goals, which were the most among all PWHL players last week, as the 32-year-old continued her ascent into the PWHL scoring race. After recording 3 straight multi-point games and 2 or more points in the last 5 of her 6 games, Jenner now sits 4th in league in points with 8 goals, 10 assists through 20 games played. And lastly, for our first star, we have Aaron Ambrose, a defensiveman out of Montreal. Ambrose is named first star of the week for the first time this season after the defender had 5 points, which was 1 goal and 4 assists in 2 games played this week, highlighted by a 4 assist effort against Minnesota on April 18th. Overall, Ambrose led all PWHL players in points and assists for the week, and her strong output moved her into the first place in the PWHL for scoring among defenders with 15 points. In her team's first game of the week on April 18th, Ambrose was a key figure in a thrilling 4-3 comeback win over Minnesota, which the defender played on every Montreal goal in the game, including 3 on the power play. She became the first player in PWHL history with 4 assists in a single game, and the first player to hit the 4-point mark in a single game as well. In her team's second game of the week, the record breaking duel at the top in front of 21,105 fans at the Bell Center, Ambrose went from playmaker to goal scorer as a 29-year-old tied the game in the second period with a power play marker, her first of the season. Ambrose now sits tied for second in team scoring as well as in the assist category league wide. So shout out to the girls over there having a bit of a moment
Hell yeah.
and closing in on their playoff start as well. So we'll be sure to cover what the final teams are once we have those locked in. As we said, they still have a few more games before we'll have those numbers in. I do also want to take a moment, since we're talking about the girls, to congratulate the first ever female cup keeper. So the Stanley Cup keeper is someone who travels with a cup throughout the entire year to make sure that when the boys pour 2 bottles of Jack Daniels, that it's cleaned properly after they do a keg stand.
Yep.
Um, yeah. So, and I am so sorry if I mispronounced your name. I did try and look it up, and as best as I can tell, it's Mira Bitove.
Okay.
Maraghbitove. She is the first ever um, female cup keeper, which is kind of awesome. She has been, I believe, if I remember correctly, she has been in the Hockey Hall of Fame as an archivist for like 18 years or something insane.
That's
So
nuts.
she clearly knows what the fuck she's doing, which is why she's been given the position.
I would say.
And so, yeah. Um, so we're gonna see her a lot more as we get or as the season ends and the cup starts traveling around with all these players. Um, so that's just really cool. Just a little another moment of women doing cool shit in the sport. So I wanted to highlight that.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah,
Listen,
absolutely.
do you know off the top of your head what the capacity is for the Bell Center?
Is it 21,105?
It is.
I wonder how I knew that.
That's a good question. Maybe because it was a sellout.
Sold out
Like
arena.
I don't
Yeah.
think I feel like people aren't understanding how big of a deal that is. The
Yeah.
Bell Center is the home of the Montreal Canadiens.
23 times Stanley Cup
The
champions.
the most successful franchise in NHL
Yeah.
history.
Not
You go to
lately, but yeah.
Montreal, yeah, it's been a long time. 30 years. um
Let's keep it going.
actually, yeah, it's
Let's make
not
it
going to be this
31.
year. We're going to make it more than yeah.
Yeah.
Um literally it's been 31 years. Yeah. So it'll be 30,
Okay.
yeah, it'll be 31, 32 years. It'll be
Yeah.
probably 40. But
Okay.
The Montreal Canadiens, that place sells out almost every game, even when they suck.
Yeah.
Over 21,000. That's
Mhm.
fucking crazy. Like I saw that
It's
number and I
insane.
got so hyped because I'm like,
Yeah.
I've been such a big advocate as well as you and
Yeah.
Danger for women's sports, and I'm like, this is such a big fucking deal, especially for their first
Mhm.
season.
Yeah, dude.
Like the
And
hype
the
is
fact that,
so
like,
real.
every single time they get into a bigger and better arena and better only because of the capacity, um, into bigger and bigger arenas, it doesn't matter. There's no stopping it. Not only did it sell out, but there are people who were upset they couldn't get tickets. They tried and failed. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? They weren't struggling to sell out. They sold out quickly, and I think that
Just
that can't be overstated enough.
just so we're in, aware. The second largest, it looks like, in the world capacity arena for hockey is the Bell Center
Mhm.
by 400 seats behind SKA Arena in St. Petersburg, Russia. So,
Which I don't think we're going there anytime
no,
soon,
but like y'all sold out
unfortunately.
the second largest one in the world, the biggest arena in the NHL. They sold
The
out.
the biggest arena that they have access to, for sure.
Yes, is fucking crazy. So I was super hyped
Which I
about that.
think this only means that next year we should see more games. You know, they've
I
had
would,
a
yeah,
short schedule this year. I think that before we see an expansion draft, which we will see within the next 3 to 5 years, I have no
but
doubt
yeah,
just
they need
because
to
of this,
establish more games
they need to establish
first.
more games, and listen to that fan base that clearly fucking wants it. And just how
Gotta give
cool.
them, gotta give the people what they want.
Hell yeah. More
I'm
women's
in.
sports.
Hell
I'm
yeah,
all in. And yeah, and we're seeing GMs from current NHL teams be like, the second they open up bids for an expansion, we're
we
in.
want in.
We're bringing
Yeah,
women's hockey to Washington, to like
I feel
all
like
these other
Pittsburgh
places.
might be next.
Maybe.
I think Pittsburgh. What was the other one that they like had a crazy sellout in?
I could see them trying to get some West teams started because
I
we've
could
already
like
got like Canada and the East
L.A.
Coast kind of covered. So I see us either moving further down south, to a Florida, putting another fucking team in Florida, um, or out to LA. Or
Yeah,
possibly even Seattle. I think women's sports, women's hockey, they have a
would
Seattle team,
crush in Seattle,
would crush,
and they wouldn't have to do
would
much
fucking
except for
kill.
just let them play at Climate Pledge Arena already. That they
Yeah,
have a fucking already set hockey
brand
arena,
spanking new, yeah,
brand new. Well, I
yeah,
mean, it's newly renovated.
well,
It might as well be brand new.
brand new for hockey,
It's new to
which is what
them.
counts here. Yeah,
Yeah, it's new to them.
yeah, yeah, very cool, very excited for that. But speaking of playoffs, Chris, do you wanna give us a little bit of an update as to where we stand? Because I think as of the last episode, we weren't sure what the final outcome was gonna be for standings, and then, of course, immediately after finishing, there were standings updates
Oh yeah,
because of all this.
playoffs. Playoffs? You want to talk about playoffs? Wrong sport.
Yeah, why would I do that?
Wrong sport. We'll talk about
We're not in the playoffs?
playoffs. It's what is that? Have you ever seen that quote from Jim Mora when he coached the Indianapolis Colts?
No.
Someone asked about playoffs. He goes, playoffs? Playoffs? Are you kidding me? I don't want to talk about playoffs. We got to win a fucking game first. So it's so
No, I've never heard
memeable.
of that.
Everything is always like
That's so
playoffs.
funny.
I'll show it to you after
That's
we're done
hilarious.
recording.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But yes, all 16 teams are officially locked and loaded. Your
Whoop.
Eastern Conference games look as the Florida Panthers have to play the Tampa Bay Lightning, which is hilarious.
I love a
Um,
Florida mashup.
I know. I love the next one, which is just kind of tradition in the NHL at this point. The Boston
Fucking
Bruins
right.
are facing the Toronto Maple Leafs. Uh, in the Metro side, the New York Rangers have to play the Washington Capitals, or are currently in the middle of playing the Capitals.
Yep,
The Carolina
sure are.
Hurricanes are playing the New York Islanders.
Go Canes.
Right?
They're winning right
On
now.
I know I saw. On the Western Conference side, guys, I might be having a stroke. I can't decide.
Just a small one.
Little mini stroke. The Dallas Stars are playing the Vegas Golden Knights. The Winnipeg Jets are playing the Colorado Avalanche. Vancouver Canucks are facing the Nashville Predators, and the Edmonton Oilers are facing off against the Los Angeles Kings. Now, we have
Yep,
already since played a bunch of games. Florida's up 1 game to
correct.
nothing over Tampa. It is a series tie 1-1 between Boston and Toronto. The Rangers have a 2 games to none lead over the Washington Capitals. The
Yeah.
Hurricanes have a 2 games to none lead over the
Woo.
Islanders. Vegas is up 1-0 in their series. Winnipeg is up 1-0 in their series. Vancouver is up 1-0 in their series, and the Edmonton Oilers are game up over the Kings.
Yeah, um,
You obviously are
I
feeling some sort of way.
I'm feeling some sort of way for a lot of fucking reasons right now.
Super
Which
fair.
stupid fucking fans, man. I swear to God.
Dude, people are stupid.
People are dumb.
Gross.
But, Yeah, I mean, I love playoff hockey. I This is always such a fun time. These games are nerve-wracking. Being down 2-0 in a series is nothing new to the Washington Capitals. I think I saw a stat earlier today that said that when we go to Madison Square Arena this year, we lose. When they come to Capital One Arena, they lose.
Have you guys
So we're
not won
just
in the
trading.
Garden yet this year?
I think we're 0-3 in the Garden this year.
That's rough. You
Yeah.
got to win one in MSG. Like that's
I
you got to
Yeah,
win
this
at least
year
one.
was not our year, and right now we are on a losing streak. So I think that makes us 0-4 at the Garden, after tonight's loss. Um, but we have a record of beating the Rangers, so all this means to me is that we're forcing a game 7, and if I lose in a game 7, I'm fucking proud as hell. I'll tell you what,
Yeah,
if
because
I said
y'all
this to
shouldn't
someone the
have
other
been
day,
there.
we should not have been there. If I'm gonna lose in round 1 of the playoffs to the Rangers, I'm taking them to game 7 so that they're tired when they face off against, the winners of the Canes Islanders matchup.
Oh, 100%.
You know what I mean?
100%.
I'm setting the Canes up for a quick win in round 2. That's what's happening here. Um, and that's fine with me. If we lose like that, A-okay. Cool with it. I will say real quick, if I'm gonna place, bets on who I want to win, I want Florida Panthers to take it.
Okay.
I obviously wanna see the Boston Bruins win just because I think that's fucking funny. Although, also seeing them lose would be hilarious, so any outcome there is an acceptable outcome.
You know what? I
Would love to see the
agree.
Caps win. Not gonna happen. Obviously rooting for the Canes, especially with Orly and, Kuzi, playing for them now. I think that's great. I wanna see Dallas beat Vegas only because of a topic we're gonna talk about later. Um, Rooting for the Jets because I do think that it would be great to see a Canadian team make it all the way to the final. Um, Rooting for the Preds because why not? Let's give
The
an
Preds
underdog
are
a shot.
fucking dude. I'm telling you, no one's
Preds
no
are
one's
nice.
talking about the Predators.
Yeah. And then I guess I'll root for Edmonton. I just know they're not gonna make it, but I'll root for them to beat the Kings,
I
just
mean,
out of
that's
allegiance to you and your
oh,
rivalry.
I appreciate that.
You're
Yeah, I
welcome.
mean, I think the Panthers are gonna move on. I feel like it's not it. The Boston Toronto series can go either way because I feel like Toronto's that type of team that if they're
Yeah,
gonna get their shit sorted out, it's gonna be now.
right.
Um, I would like to for your sake. Um, Obviously we've discussed I'm not exactly a massive
Yeah,
Capitals fan just because of my
right.
upbringing with my dad who's a Penguins fan. But I mean
100%.
the tale of two tapes, like it'd be cool to see. Obviously, being from the tri-state area, I guess
Mhm.
technically speaking, for like New
Right.
York, I wouldn't hate seeing the Rangers go all the way. Um,
Yeah,
I would like to see Washington maybe make another round run. Um,
just for the
I
story of it all.
yeah, I
Worst
think
differential making it pretty far is pretty funny.
the worst statistical team to make the playoffs in NHL history.
Ever, period. Yeah.
If they
Love
if
it.
they can make a nice little run, you just be like,
Yeah.
"Fuck all y'all, we weren't even supposed to be here."
Right.
Um, I think it comes down to Carolina and Florida in the Eastern Conference Finals.
Okay.
Um, I obviously picked Vegas to win, so
You're committed.
I committed to that when I said it at the beginning of the season.
Yeah, you did.
Um, I normally, I wouldn't pick against the Avalanche, but the Winnipeg Jets have been really good this year. Um,
Yeah.
so I'm gonna go Winnipeg. I'm gonna pick. I'm gonna pick. I'm gonna pick Nashville on that
Okay.
one. Nashville and
Okay.
Edmonton. I think it ends up being Nashville, Vegas. I've been getting a lot of flack from people I know in my personal circle about my prediction with the Bruins. Listen,
Yeah.
I want to make this clear. This has nothing to do with me not being a New England sports fan. I'm not using any sort of bias here to
Right.
say that I'm not picking the Bruins. I'm not picking the Bruins because they continuously show me that they're not fucking good enough to get it done.
I mean, also, it is the funniest outcome to have them be swept from not I don't think they were swept fully. They went,
But
what, 6
completely
games?
like
But, like, completely
yeah.
kicked out first round 2 years in a row after just fucking dominating.
I
It's
just
funny.
like
It's a funny, funny bit.
and the retribution for Maple Leafs fans would be like, "Ha ha ha ha,
Yeah,
finally." But
yeah,
like I want this to be clear to everyone. I want the Bruins to prove me wrong.
yeah,
I want them to go win
100%.
the cup so I can be like, "You know what? I'm gonna eat my words on this. You guys showed me. I
But
made my
again,
bed."
series tied, 1-1.
And they didn't look that great game 2.
Yeah. No, no. It was a much closer game, though. Obviously, it was a 4-point difference first game, second game, 1 point, but
Yeah.
still,
It's still
kind
like
of
you
embarrassing.
this should be easy for them. Like they should
Correct.
walk through Toronto.
It should be like
And
breathing.
it's no disrespect to the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Oh, no. No,
They're a
no.
great organization, but holy shit. Have you
Yeah,
guys been struggling this year?
fucking sleeping on it, yeah.
So I just and then if you win,
Yeah,
guess who you have to play? Either
right.
Toronto or either Tampa or the Panthers.
Yeah.
Guess how that's gonna go? Shitty. Because the
Well, since
Panthers
we're on the
only
topic
got better.
I know. Yeah, it sucks when you're rooting for the Panthers, but, 'cause I feel like I'm rooting for the Kachuk brothers, you know what I mean? And
And I don't
I don't
want
like
to
that.
because I can't
I don't
stand
want to do
either
that.
of them.
Yeah, that's no fun.
No.
But since we're on the topic of playoff stuff, why don't we jump into talking a little bit about the situation there in Vegas? We mentioned it a little bit last week, but he wasn't officially back on ice, and now he has been.
Not only been
So,
back on ice, he scored a goal.
yeah, after having a fucking lacerated spleen,
So,
Mark
yes.
Stone.
So, Mark Stone of the Vegas Golden Knights, 2 weeks before the trade deadline, went out with a lacerated spleen. Was placed on long term
Mhm.
IR. Was not quite sure on what the deal was going to be there. So what did
Yep,
they do? Well, they're like, well, we're missing one of our biggest playmakers.
yep,
Make some moves at the trade deadline, which they went out and got Noah Hannafin and Tomas Hertl,
and Anthony Mantha,
studs, and Anthony Mantha,
who made a return
studs.
to actually playing this year.
Yeah, and then playoff comes. Now I called this.
You did. I Full props to you.
It just like a couple days before the playoffs. Boom. Mark Stone
Yeah,
is available for the postseason. There's some questions on what the deal was with the injury, if he was actually injured, if there was surgery of some kind, like what could have caused him in 2 months to come back from a lacerated spleen.
yeah.
Um,
To come back and be at top performance, scoring
he
goals.
he looked really good.
Yeah.
Let me grab his stats while I think about it from that game.
Not only did he score, but it was the first goal, by the way,
Yeah,
of the game.
first goal of the game. Box score. Mark Stone he had 1 goal, no assists. He had a plus minus of -2. He played 17 minutes.
Yeah, insane.
Yeah, and he looked great. It looks like he only took one shot on goal, and that one shot on goal went in the net.
But he was on the
So
ice, obviously, for
he
some
was on the ice for 17 minutes.
yeah, that is insane, and with that, his salary cap was 9.5 million that was freed up to bring in
Yeah,
other people. So now they're 9.5 at least. Well, I guess not at least, because I don't remember, but they are severely over cap space right now. And it's not a problem because, well, so with the way cap stuff is determined for playoffs, there is no cap really, in
There's no
playoffs,
rules. There's no
ultimately.
cap
There's no
penalty
rules about
rules.
it.
Yeah.
Correct. So as long as your player's on LTIR prior to the playoffs, you can do whatever as long as you're within your cap during regular season. And then after regular season ends and postseason, you can do whatever the fuck you want. And we've seen this
Yeah,
happen several times. We saw it with Chicago in what, 2015 when they won
I
their
believe
6th
so.
Stanley Cup, I think
I
so
think
was when that
so.
was.
I know it was most recently with
Yes, in
the
2021 with
Tampa,
Tampa
yeah,
Bay.
and Nikita Kucherov who missed most of the season.
But I believe it also happened in 2015 when Chicago made their cup run. And so you
It
have
might have.
a
I don't
couple of
fully remember.
people or a couple of teams who very recently have done it in a very big way, and even last year, Vegas kinda did it and also won
And
because they had
listen,
all those injuries last year.
it's I understand the frustration of the fans and I get it, but Vegas technically didn't do anything wrong. They are
No,
not doing
right.
anything wrong because they are not breaking any rules. And who's to
So
say
that
that this was a malicious thing? This could have just been happenstance. Like there
yeah,
is no guarantee. Do we all know it's most likely? This, yes, is most likely this scenario, but they're not technically doing anything wrong.
yeah, so I guess that's kinda leads into our question of the week. So they're obviously not the first team, and they obviously didn't break any rules. But should there be rules to discourage this kind of behavior?
I think there should be some sort of rule put in place.
Mhm.
I sent you something earlier today, and
Yeah.
Jesse Pollock of Bar Down TSN. Jesse, if you're not listening to us, you should be. Bitch, you got a shout out 2 weeks in a
Call
row.
you directly, yeah.
Directly, you and your love with Jeff Bookaboom. I'm just kidding. We love the Bar Down squad. Those guys are awesome. Um,
Yeah.
but he proposed an idea that what was it? It was you with the last 5 games of the season, if you are on long term IR and not ready to go, but you're back for the playoffs, you should
Mhm.
however many games before you missed, you should have to do that. Like if you miss like 3 games before like the regular season ends and you're on, then you have to miss 3 games per or like
Yeah.
3 games in the playoffs. It's like, all right, that's fair. Um, I thought that a cap penalty for the next season
Yeah.
would be good to get kind of like MLB, how they do the luxury tax. If you
Mhm.
go over that certain amount, you have to pay to the league. I think if you have a
Yeah.
player in that situation and that's what happens, I think you should have a cap penalty for the next season and nothing crazy. Um, I think it should depend on how far you go.
Right.
Um, I would say if you anywhere from the first round to the Stanley Cup Finals, anywhere from 250,000 to like a million. I'd say if you win the Stanley Cup, that's $1 million cap hit, cap fine.
So, I would, because I was thinking about that too, and I was thinking about it in the way that, I know we're about to get hit next season with some cap hits because of bonuses that we issued, to Patches especially. He, ate up, like, almost 2,000,000.
Mm.
I think it should be more in line with that. So, if we're gonna do some sort of a cap hit the next year, I think it goes on a percentage of the overage of the cap that you had during your playoff run. So if all in during your playoffs, you went over by 2,500,000 and you won the Stanley Cup, you're paying 2,500,000 in cap hit the next year. If you
Okay.
made it halfway through, you pay half of that 2.5. If you made it a quarter of the way through, you make a quarter of that 2.5. So whatever your overage is, you pay the percentage of the that you went through for your cup run. And that's the hit that you take. And if you win, you're responsible for all of it. You went over, you now have to get rid of that excess for the next year.
Yeah.
That would be
Um,
my suggestion. But I do think that there should be something, and unfortunately, the collective bargaining agreement doesn't expire until 2026, I believe. So we won't see a solution to this for another 2 years. But I do think
so
that this will be talked about because of the publicity around the 2 most recent examples of when this happened.
Oh, last season Stone was
Yeah,
sidelined with what was described as an upper body injury on January 3rd, placed on long-term IR on February 1st. It was another back injury that ended his regular season, though Stone was ready to go for Winnipeg at game 1 of the playoffs and logged
right,
21 minutes of ice time. The Golden Knights were able to acquire Ivan Barbashev at the trade deadline. Uh, about half the NHL was over the cap for using some of their LTIR pool by the end of the season. This is not a
mhm,
unique situation to this season. Yeah.
right.
So again, everybody's fucking doing this.
Yeah, I just think that everyone should fucking stop,
Yeah, like
is my thing.
yeah, I mean, yes, it is a very unfair thing to do.
Yeah,
But what's hilarious now is the obvious notion of the only reason we're publicizing this is because Vegas won the Stanley Cup last year.
yeah, after
Because
kind of
you
employing some of the same tactics.
yeah,
Not anything as obvious as Mark Stone, but
but how many other teams in the league have done this? How many other
yeah,
teams in the league are doing this right now?
and I agree. I think that that is problematic across the board, and I think that it should have been an issue when it first happened or when it was first, kind of a bigger deal in 2015 after
Yeah.
Chicago did it. I think that changes should have been made then because I don't think for me, the one with Vegas, people are especially upset about because Mark Stone went out. They said it was a lacerated spleen, and it was presumed that with an injury that serious, that you're out for a longer period of
You're
time.
done. Yeah.
And then they made some big fucking trades because Mark was going to be out, and now they brought him back. Right?
Yeah.
When you have situations, it's less obvious if you have someone who goes out in December and is like, "Hey, he could be out 6 months, he could be out a whole year. We really don't know. It depends on how his rehab goes." And then they're lucky enough to make it into the playoffs, and he's lucky enough to be healthy to come back. That to me is easier to overlook, and is I think what more teams have experienced, this season. Um, but that is I think overall there needs to be some kind of adjustment for it, especially in the language of the timing of it all. You can't go out
Yeah.
and make a bunch of trades because of the fact that you have this injured player, and then that injured player gets to just walk back in and play like it wasn't a fucking problem.
Right. And I
You know what I
mean,
mean?
not for nothing, but they did also find a way to re-sign Noah Hannafin for a long-term deal.
Yeah.
So it's yeah, I mean, I don't think people should be upset with Vegas for
No.
finding a loophole, I don't think that that's the
You can't be
problem,
mad
but
when it they're allowed to, but I think you can say, "Make a call for change."
oh, I agree. That
Yeah.
I can agree. Like I feel like yes, we should absolutely be like monitoring that and paying attention to that because we get to a point where this is the situation that we have and this is
Mhm.
I- it's not a great look for the league, but it's also like
No.
not one that's really going to change much.
No.
Like overall, I before even any of this went down, I still had Vegas as my pick to win it all because
Yeah.
they didn't really lose anyone in the offseason.
Right.
They didn't really lose anyone. So I just I do feel like something should be done. Like
Yeah.
not so penalize anyone currently because you can't
No.
penalize someone for something that's not a rule. But
Correct.
you
Correct.
can you can make a rule so this way in the future people will be deterred from trying this.
Yeah. Exactly. In 100% agreement. I don't think Vegas should be penalized at all
No, because there's no
because
need.
they
Like
can't. They
first
they
off, you
legally
can't
can't be.
prove it. You can't prove
Yeah.
that this is what they did. Like
No.
I want to state that. Like we can all speculate all we want, but there is no
Right.
actual physical proof that this was a malicious thing to
Right.
get two really good players and because in reality, if I'm going after Tomas Hurdle and Noah Hannafin, do you know what I'm doing? I'm replacing
Mhm.
productivity.
Right.
Not many
Yeah.
players are as productive on that team as Mark Stone. There's a reason Mark
Right.
Stone is there. He's their captain.
Yeah.
It makes sense. So thinking
Correct.
he's going to be out that long, yeah, I'm going out and replacing his assist numbers, his goal numbers,
Mhm.
and those 2 pickups were that.
Were helpful,
But
yeah.
yeah, and now they just happen to get him back. But they got so I
Yeah.
don't I don't know. I don't see it as this I know so many people are up in arms and I'm like, you can't get mad at them for technically not doing anything wrong.
Yeah. But I do think that you can then root against them. You know what I mean?
That
If that's
yeah,
gonna be your
and
reason, I
by
think
all
that's a valid
means.
reason.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I just don't think
Yeah.
we can't be like, "Well, they should get fined $1 billion," or any of the other ridiculous takes I've seen
The
over the
Houston
last week.
Astros didn't lose their World Series championship after they got caught stealing fucking
Yeah.
signs.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's a little more egregious than
100%.
like that's actual cheating.
100%. Yeah.
To whereas this isn't really necessarily cheating. This is just
Right. If we had a water boy
playing.
situation where he stole the other coach's playbook and then made him, lose his mind, um,
Yeah,
slowly but surely over the course of decades, then yeah, 100% fine him out the ass. But this is not water boy, and
no,
that did not happen.
Bobby Boucher is not
Bobby
here.
Boucher.
God,
I wish he was.
that movie's
I'll
so
be his Vicky
great.
Valancourt. Um,
And she showed me her boobies, and I like them too.
dude, I need to rewatch that movie. I
Oh my
haven't seen it
god,
in a
I haven't
few
seen. It's been
years.
so long.
Yeah, it's been so long. That's gotta be up
Do what your
next.
favorite. Do what Captain Insano does. Captain Insano show no mercy. It just pokes him in the fucking eyes. I gotta find that. I might have to watch that after this.
Yeah, it's too good.
Yeah.
Um, all right, so a couple more updates. The quickest update ever. Lindy Ruff back in it. He has just been named as the Sabres head coach, replacing Granado. So shout out to him. He also previously coached he made his coaching
Yeah.
start, I
So
believe, in
he
Buffalo.
coached
So going
he
back to
coached
where it
Buffalo
all
from
began.
1997 to 2013.
Yes.
Almost won them a cup. He would have won them a cup if there was a rule or if they
We'll
enforced
see.
rules.
We'll talk about actually we won't talk about it today because I'm too you would get
Upset
very,
about
very spicy.
yeah. And
But we'll
listen,
talk about playoff enforcement of rules eventually, one
well,
day.
and I'm happy. I'm happy for Lindy Ruff. You know,
I
he
am
was
too.
beloved. He was beloved with Sabres fans, and
Yeah,
it wasn't necessarily his fault that things didn't go
to
his
work out in New
way
Jersey.
there. There's a
Yeah,
lot of young talent there. There's a lot to be excited for Buffalo.
yeah.
So I think that
I
maybe
mean,
bringing an old face back will be just what they need.
yeah. Hey, he finished with 112 points last season with the Devils.
Yeah, and they made
So
a
it's not
nice
like
little
he's not.
playoff run.
They did, and the Devils in New Jersey wanted something more. They want a cup,
The Devils
so they
deviled.
decided. Yeah, exactly. So real quick update on that. Another quick update is we have had the announcement of the King Clancy Trophy nominees, as well
Yes,
as the Bill Masterson Trophy nominees. Which should I run through all of those just very quickly?
if you'd like.
I guess. Yeah. All right. So I guess we'll just take it from here. Um, and with that, we also have the announcement of some of the NHL award nominees. The two notable ones being the King Clancy nominees, which we have. Those are all picked by the teams themselves. Obviously, the King Clancy, for those of you who don't know, is presented to the player who best exemplifies leadership qualities on and off the ice and has made a noteworthy humanitarian contribution to his community. So, the 2023-2024 King Clancy Memorial Trophy nominees are Cam Fowler of the Anaheim Ducks, Nick Bugstad of the Arizona Coyotes, Linus Ullmark of the Boston Bruins, Alex Tuck of the Buffalo Sabres, Andrew Mangiapane of the Calgary Flames, Jacob Slavin of the Carolina Hurricanes, Connor Murphy of the Chicago Blackhawks, Cale Makar of the Colorado Avalanche, Zach Werenski of the Columbus Blue Jackets, Jake Ottinger of the Dallas Stars, Dylan Larkin of the Detroit Red Wings, Darnell Nurse of the Edmonton Oilers, shout out to his sister, Alexander Barkov of the Florida Panthers, Kevin Fiala of the Los Angeles Kings, Marc-Andre Fleury of the Minnesota Wild, Nick Suzuki of the Montreal Canadiens, Roman Josi of the Nashville Predators, Jacques Hughes of the New Jersey Devils, Anders Lee of the New York Islanders, Jacob Trouba of the New York Rangers, Brady Tkachuk of the Ottawa Senators, Scott Laughton of the Philadelphia Flyers, Brian Rust of the Pittsburgh Penguins, Luke Kunin of the San Jose Sharks, Jaden Schwartz of the Seattle Kraken, Braden Shen of the St. Louis Blues, Nicholas Paul of the Tampa Bay Lightning, Austin Matthews of the Toronto Maple Leafs, Quinn Hughes of the Vancouver Canucks. Nice to see the Hughes brothers getting
Doing
nominated
things
together.
together.
Yeah. Jack Eichel of the Vegas Golden Knights, Tom Wilson of the Washington Capitals, and Josh Morrissey of the Winnipeg Jets. So those are the nominees. As a reminder, the whoever gets the most votes will receive a $25,000 donation to benefit a charity of their choice. And new this year, the winner will also be eligible to elect that his club receive a grant from the NHL up to $20,000 to help organize a special activation related to their humanitarian cause, which I think is
Shazam.
super awesome. And I can't wait to see where that money goes to for whoever wins it. If you are a winner of the King Clancy, I can't imagine that you would not elect to also get $20,000 in for a special activation. That's a fuck
Oh
ton of
yeah.
money to be able to put on an event. So,
Yeah. So
hope we'll see that soon.
your last four winners of the King Clancy Award were Mikhail Backlund with the
Mhm.
Calgary Flames. 2021, 2022 is PK Subban. 2020, 2021 was Pekka Rinne from the Nashville Predators. 2019, 2020 was Matt Dumba when he was with the Wild.
Minnesota Wild. Very
Yeah.
nice.
Um,
We also have the Bill Masterson Trophy nominees. Um, this one is the sorry, can't read.
mhm.
Um, the Masterson Trophy is awarded to. There we go. Scroll, scroll. It's awarded under the trusteeship of the PWHA, which is the Professional Hockey Writers Association, because we don't really say that acronym much on the show. So I wanted to
No.
make sure spell that out. It is given to a player who best exemplifies the quality of perseverance, sportsmanship, and dedication to hockey. So those nominees have also just been announced. We have Urho Vakanainen of the Anaheim Ducks, Connor Ingram of the Arizona Coyotes, Danton Heinen of the Boston Bruins, Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen of the Buffalo Sabres,
A great name.
Oliver I know, it's a long ass name. I don't think it fits in like a Social Security form.
No, but it fits on
Um,
the back of a jersey.
barely,
Somehow.
somehow. Oliver Kylington of the Calgary Flames, Frederick Anderson of the Carolina Hurricanes, Colin Blackwell of the Chicago Blackhawks, Jonathan Drouin of the Colorado Avalanche, Zach Werenski of the Columbus Blue Jackets, nominated for a lot. Our boy Zach. Matt Duchene of the Dallas Stars, Alex Leon. It's probably Lion, but I like saying it the French way,
I think it is
so I'm gonna keep
Lion.
doing that. It is, but again, I'm going to say it the French way. Anyway, of the Detroit Red Wings, um, Vincent Descharnay of the Edmonton Oilers, Oliver Ekman-Larsson of the Florida Panthers, Victor Arvidsson of the Los Angeles Kings, Marco Rossi of the Minnesota Wild, Joel Armia of the Montreal Canadiens, Michael McCarron of the Nashville Predators, Curtis Lazar of the New Jersey Devils, Cal Clutterbuck of the New York Islanders, Jonathan Quick of the New York Rangers, Claude Giroux of the Ottawa Senators, Sean Couturier of the Philadelphia Flyers, Sidney Crosby of the Pittsburgh Penguins, Justin Bailey of the San Jose Sharks, Joey Decord of the Seattle Kraken, Nathan Walker of the St. Louis Blues, Mikey Eissimont of the Tampa Bay Lightning, Ilya Samsonov of the Toronto Maple Leafs, Noah Juleson, sorry, just had a stroke, Noah Juleson of the Vancouver Canucks, Alex Petrangelo of the Vegas Golden Knights, TJ Oshie of the Washington Capitals, and Laurent Brossoit of the Winnipeg Jets are the
This
award
is
nominees for this year.
this is a tough one because like so many
It's a tough
players
one.
who've gone through so much adversity and like
Mhm.
I think the reason Sid's on there is because Sid's having a career year at 37. Like and
In a
Freddie
team that is in
Anderson,
fucking shambles.
oh my god. Well then you
Sorry.
got Frederick Anderson who had blood clots and like
Mhm.
life changing and he's back.
Yeah.
And can you imagine if Carolina wins the Stanley Cup?
Yeah, absolutely. That'd be
Like, that's
awesome.
huge.
And then also you have Oshie with his continued back problems
Yep.
and his concussion issues as
Mhm.
well, because he, was concussed more than once this season.
That's
Um,
not surprised. Not surprised.
yeah, once you have one, you're super susceptible to all.
Oh, I know!
I
I
wonder how you
lived
know,
it!
Chris.
Yeah, I lost count at 5.
Yeah, fair. So yeah, I think there's some really great nominees. Again, excited to see when the actual awardees are announced, and we'll keep you guys updated with that. We'll also keep you updated with the Hart Trophy and the Willie O'Ree Award,
I'm I'm gonna call it
Messier
now.
their leadership.
Calling it now. Nikita Kucherov is winning the Hart Trophy.
Okay,
No, I've been saying this for most of the season. He's
true.
easily been the most valuable fucking asset for that team. So I'm calling it right now. That's my prediction is Nikita Kucherov.
I yeah, I don't know because I just feel like the Maple Leafs only got into the playoffs because of Austin Matthews. So
And he did have 69 goals this season.
yeah,
Like,
that's one of those things where it's kind of like though
yeah.
that's a toss up for me. It can go either way, and I'm not
It's
mad either
and
way it goes.
McDavid could be thrown in there. Like
Yeah.
I
Although McDavid had more help than I think personally Austin had.
well, he had to because fuck.
Yeah. But yeah, we will keep you guys updated with those. Obviously, you know that. Um, yeah. So let's get into some bad boys and then some hurdy boys.
Mm,
How's that sound?
sounds
Real
good.
quick, we have no suspensions. Great news. Um, and I don't think we actually have any new um fines either.
I don't think we
So
do either.
they were well behaved up until now. We are now officially in the playoffs though, so that will change.
Yeah.
That will
Um,
100% change. So no bad boys, which means
no,
Chris, it's now turn time for you to tell us who the Hurdy Boys are.
indeed. Here, let me make sure I can find a.
Yeah. Which
All
also
right,
we're only going to mention the people for active
for the
teams, right?
teams
We're
that
not
are
going to.
still in the playoffs, because fuck
Yeah,
everyone
because
else.
exactly. Okay. Just
All
checking.
right, so we will start with the Boston Bruins. A couple new updates. Andrew Peak is out with a finger injury. That looks like that happened either yesterday or today. Derek Forbort still out with that undisclosed injury, but it looks like he should be back by tomorrow.
And I still
Um,
love his name, Forbort.
Forbort.
That's
Um,
fun.
Justin Brazeau looks like he won't be back until May, and obviously Matthew Poitras is done for the year. Moving on to Carolina, just a couple. Jesper Fast has an upper body injury. It looks like he should be back by the end of the week. And Brett Pesci is on here, lower
Mm.
body, and no timetable for him. Colorado Avalanche, Samuel Girard out with a concussion, should be back by the end of the week. Um, Same with Justice Anunin. He has an illness, syphilis. Uh,
Mhm.
he looks like he should be back by the end of the week. Everyone else is, except for Jonathan Drouin, who should be back by by the beginning of May. Everyone else is kind of done. I don't. Again, it's still saying that there's a chance Gabriel Landeskog comes back. I think they'd be stupid to bring him back.
I think let the man rest,
Yeah.
you know?
Um. Only one new one for Detroit, and that's Yanni Hakanpää. But I feel like he's been on for a while.
You mean
He should
Dallas.
he Dallas. Yes. What did I say?
Detroit,
Detroit. Yeah. That's I.
which
It's
would be hilarious, I know.
it would be. Yes, Dallas. Sorry. I can't read.
I can't either, it's fine.
For the Florida Panthers, Ryan Lomberg and Sam Bennett. Sam Bennett went out early in game 2. Upper body, nothing disclosed since. Ryan Lomberg has an illness, so we will see what that transpires. Now we'll see what that translates to. I'm
Mhm.
having a hard time, y'all. I
I get
always
it.
have a hard time. I mean, Phoenix Copley is still the only thing for uh, LA. Jesus, dude. We'll get through it. We'll get through it.
We'll be fine. There's fewer teams. We only have 16.
There's way fewer teams. Nothing new
Yeah.
for the Islanders. A couple updates. Blake Wheeler for the New York Rangers should be back
Did you wanna
hopefully by
skip
the
new Never mind.
what? The
Never mind.
Islanders?
I'm done. I'm done. Keep
Are you
going.
gonna say New Jersey?
Uh-huh. Uh-huh, uh-huh.
Yeah. You know where they are?
They're on the golf course.
That's where we are too.
Yeah, fair.
Um Blake Wheeler has a leg injury, should be back hopefully by the end of the week. Philip Cheadle, head injury,
Cheetle, cheetle, cheetle.
expected to be back at some point soon, within the next
I
couple
hope he's
days.
okay. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
that
Hopefully
sounds
it's
rough.
nothing too serious.
Yeah.
Trying to make sure I didn't skip any.
It feels like you're skipping people, but it's just because the bottom of the list has, like, fucking a bunch of people.
You know why? Because Edmonton's not on here. Like, there's some teams that aren't on here.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Okay.
Because I have no
Um.
injuries.
Yeah. Tampa Bay has a few. Um. Hayden Fleury and Logan Brown both have undisclosed injuries. Logan Brown done for the year.
Mhm.
Hayden Fleury should be back by the end of the week. Same with Jonas Johansson with a lower body injury, expected back at some point within the next couple days. Toronto Maple Leafs, Bobby McCann has a lower
Mm,
body injury, expected to be back within the next day or two. Looks like John Klingberg and Jake Muzzin are officially done for the year.
bummer.
William Nylander, undisclosed injury, should be back within the next couple days. And Matt Murray, who I'm pretty sure I just saw playing a couple days ago, looks to be out for the next couple weeks. Um,
Yeah.
Vancouver Canucks, Thatcher Demko, undisclosed. He did miss game 2. No timetable on that. This has been announced. Same with Tyler Myers, who also has an undisclosed injury. Tucker Pullman has a head injury, which we talked about last week, is done for the
Yeah.
year. Um, Vegas Golden Knights, Robin Lehner, we still know probably won't play this year. He'll probably be back next year. And Nicholas Hague went out yesterday with an undisclosed injury.
Syphilis.
Yeah, maybe. Um, do we have anything new for Washington Capitals?
Yeah. Iorio, was a recent hit, the game 1.
Okay.
He is out, upper body hit. He did not play today, I do not believe. Rasmus Sandin still recovering as well. Also do not believe he played. And then Nick Jensen with that terrifying stretcher hit.
Bro,
Um, he's still not back, but he is doing better. So,
that's good to
um,
know.
those are the only updates we have. And then same, Backy, we still don't know if we'll ever see him again. And then Ethan Bear is still in the player assistance program.
Yeah. So I guess that just leaves Morgan Barron as for the Winnipeg Jets as the last one on the list, and he'll be back April 23rd, which is today as day of recording with a lower body
Yeah.
injury, which I don't know if he's playing right now.
I have not checked.
I will
Have
look
not
right
checked at
now.
all.
I already have it open. He is
Nice. I did
not
not.
playing,
Okay.
so
So
he
Morgan,
will
hopefully
probably
we'll see him next game.
see him next game.
Yeah.
And that was
I
me
will
struggle
say
bussing my way through that.
it's okay. We survived. Um, I will say one of my favorite parts about playoff season is the fact that games don't happen for your team every night. They like have to give them a minimum of a day in between
I know.
and more for travel when they have to travel back and forth. So that I always super love. Um, because sometimes during the season you have like games back to back and then you skip a day and then your third game and it's just like it's too much.
Yeah,
My little heart can't take it.
it's I like playoff hockey because it feels so much longer than it actually is.
Yeah,
Like there's only 4 rounds if you count the Stanley Cup Finals, and it feels
right.
like it's months of playoffs,
Yeah,
which is
I know, I
nice
like it.
because of the day, at least 1 day break. It
Right.
breaks it up. It makes it so we're not every team's not on every night.
Yeah, right. You can
So
actually see a ton more hockey.
Yes, I feel
in
like
my
you can.
opinion.
I feel like you
Yeah.
can.
So, all right. Well, thank you for that, Chris.
Hey.
But you're not done talking, unfortunately. You've got to now tell us who our not so obscure player of the week is.
Okay,
But obscure in
yes.
some ways,
In a couple ways.
in a couple ways. I'm ready for
This
the obscureness.
so our obscure NHL player of the week, the late one.
There we go.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
had that late one. Is a name that I would assume everyone that listens to this podcast knows.
think so.
Patrick Hornquist. Um, so I am well aware that there is nothing obscure about Patrick Hornquist, and I'm well aware that he had quite a fantastic career, which we will discuss.
Yeah.
Here's a fun fact: drafted in 2005 by the Nashville Predators. You want to take a guess at what where he was drafted?
I have no idea.
He was drafted last.
Really? He's
230th
Mr.
overall.
Wow, Mr.
Mr.
Irrelevant.
Irrelevant 2005. Hey, do you know
Wow.
off the top of your head who the first overall pick was in 2005?
Wasn't that Crosby's year?
It was.
Yeah. I
um
mean, uh, that was a tough talent pool that year, to be fair.
dude. All right, so let's take a look at the top 10. Your top 10 draft picks. Okay. Sidney Crosby went to the Penguins. That Bobby Ryan, number 2 overall to Anaheim. Jack Johnson, number 3 to
Mm,
Carolina. Benoit Pouliot, number 4 to Minnesota Wild. Carey Price, number 5 to Montreal Canadiens. Let's
there you
see
go.
other names that you should probably know: Anjay Kopitar, Mark Stahl, Tuukka Rask. Uh,
Love Tuca.
let's see who else: T.J. Oshie,
TJ.
Andrew Cogliano, Matt Pellick, Matt Niskanen. That's just the
All
first
names we're
round.
still saying.
That's just the first round.
Yeah.
Paul Stastny was in this draft. Mark Edward Vlasic, James Neal. This is me just quickly scrolling through here.
Yeah.
Um, Chris Letang, Jonathan Quick, Ben Bishop.
Nice.
Like what is this? NHL All Stars. I wish I had a thing of players that are still playing in the league. Keith Yandel, who is considered
Mm-hmm.
one of the Iron Men. Nicholas Jalmerson. Like
Yeah.
just so stacked, just players that are
Right.
still going. Um, but yeah, 230th overall. Also, it's real fucking funny that he was picked last in a draft
Mm-hmm.
and won a Stanley Cup as a teammate of the guy who was picked first overall in that draft.
Very true.
Uh, Two-time Stanley Cup champion Patrick Hornquist, 2016, 2017 with the Pittsburgh Penguins. His career goes as followed: 901 career NHL games. Of that, he had 264 career goals,
Wow.
279 career assists, for a total of 543 career points, with a small 466 penalty minutes.
Damn.
106 playoff appearances. He had 28 goals, 25 assists, 88
That's a
penalty
lot
minutes, 2 Stanley Cup championships, and a partridge in a pear
in a
tree.
pear tree.
Um,
Incredible.
Also, indeed, what else is incredible is winning a world championship as a representative of Team Sweden 2018.
There you go.
He won gold. Also winning a couple other bronze medals with Sweden. Yep, 2-time Stanley Cup champion. He announced last year his retirement from his 18-year career.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I was a big Patrick Hornquist guy. I really liked
Yeah.
him. And I was looking through my random picks as I always do. I was like, oh, 2005, we'll see who the last player of the draft was. Patrick Hornquist.
Northwest. I
So,
mean, again, crazy that, you know,
drafted last.
yeah, when what his talent ended up being was much more deserving of a higher listing place, we'll say.
Yeah. I agree, and it's like it's so funny to look at some of these players that are on this list, and I'm like, some of them I haven't even heard of, but then I scroll and see him,
Yeah,
and I'm like, oh, I know that name.
right.
Um, yeah, yeah,
That's awesome.
that's the
Shout out to
lowest.
Patrick.
Shout out to Patrick Hornquist as
Yeah,
our
dude.
Also Ryan Reeves was in that draft, fifth round.
That's insane.
Uh, Now I'm going with Nathan Gerby.
Now, if there's someone who deserved to be maybe a little bit lower on that list than Patrick Hornquist,
He was good at one point.
but would you
Ryan
ever say that he
Reeves.
was better than Hornquist? I would not.
No, no.
I would
It
not.
blows my mind that Keith Yandel was drafted in the fourth
In
round,
2005. That's insane.
and he played over 1,100 career games.
Yeah.
Like, that's the Iron Man. Well, no, I'm sorry, he's
Sh
not even the Iron Man anymore because that's Phil Kessel.
No, because it's what's his name? Who eats a bag of shredded cheese before
Because
games.
he's a fucking psychopath. But it's
Still, that's not even the worst pregame snack we've heard of. Because I sent you that one earlier this
oh
week,
my
Chris.
god, yeah,
A
dude.
fucking, Carlson.
I like Eric
I like
Carlson, but
Carlson.
homie, what the fuck are you doing?
Bro, that is for those who don't know, he eats pasta with Alfredo and meat sauce, red onions, um, there was something else that was just insane.
Ketchup.
Ketchup, and dips it in more Alfredo.
What a
It's a whole thing.
fucking psychopath.
It is
I'm
insane.
I mean, I'm Italian and I've never said no to pasta or Alfredo, but
I'd say no to that.
bro,
I would 100% say no to
I
that.
would
There's
say
no
no
way
to that
that
in a
sits well in your stomach.
heartbeat. Heartbeat.
Insane. Anyway,
Yeah, that's fucking crazy.
um, with that, tell us what you think is, an acceptable pregame snack. Some notable ones we've talked about recently, obviously, those 2, and Alex Ovechkin eating hot Cheetos and a Subway footlong before games. Very strange. Odd choice with the hot Cheetos.
He's number 2 on the
Um,
all-time goals list, so I don't know if I'm gonna question him though.
I'm I'm gonna question it because I think maybe he could be number 1 a lot sooner if he cut back on the fucking hot Cheetos and Coke in his cup.
Yeah,
Um,
but like we said the same thing about Phil Kessel when he's the Stanley Cup champion. So I guess
right, and the number of fucking hot dogs that dude eats. Anyway, yeah, let
oh my
us know what
god.
your favorite weird pregame snack, meal, whatever is. Um, and also let us know what you think, if there should be any consequences for people kind of messing with the cap room legally currently. Do you think that should be changed? What would you like to see from that situation? We'd love to hear your thoughts on that down below. Also, like and subscribe. I know it's fucking lame to say it. We say it all the time, but it truly makes a difference. We are so grateful for all of you that listen to us, and we can't wait to bring you some more killer content as we work through these Stanley Cup playoffs. We'll be sure to have plenty of hot takes coming up soon. I am sure of
And
that.
we will actually have Dave back to do a pick. Dave is
Yeah,
going
we
to
decided.
yeah. Dave is
Do we
going
decide to secret envelope it? I believe
yeah,
that's what
we
we
are.
had last talked
We're
about.
gonna we're
Okay,
gonna secret
perfect.
envelope it, and I'm gonna have Dave. I'm gonna have Dave record him holding up a picture or like a any sort of like paper or something, just saying who he
Newspaper,
picks and
yeah.
why. Um, and we won't get to see this until the end of the Stanley Cup Finals when we record,
Yeah.
uh, which will be fun because
Yes.
last year Dave accurately predicted the Stanley Cup Finals to a literal T. Like I've never in
Yeah.
my life, as someone who's played my entire life, watched this sport my whole life, I've never once been that perfect, and it pisses
Yeah.
me off.
I know. But so that's why we decided this year, secret envelope. He's gonna let us know. Like he's gonna pre-record it and then we'll see how accurate it is.
Yes,
Just so that we don't have to because the thing is that and this is a little behind the curtain peek for you. As we were all watching the Stanley Cup last year and watching him get closer and closer to his predictions being right, we just got angrier and
we don't want
angrier
to
that
give
he's
Dave the
better than us.
satisfaction of being right, which pisses
Yeah,
all of us
exactly.
off.
Exactly.
So
So he'll be right later on, and they'll be like, "Oh, man, crazy how you did that. That's cool."
No, whoa, man, that was
Yeah,
nuts.
it'll be exactly how it goes. But yes, thank you all so much for joining us this week for another episode of the Pucked Up Podcast. We will see you mother puckers in the face-off circle next week.